back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I am recapping episode 3 of I May Destroy You. Shit got weird this episode, I'm gonna be real. So let's just talk about it. Of course, I have to give you guys a trigger warning. This show and this recap does include conversations, content around sexual assault. So if anyone can't handle that content, it's perfectly okay to dip out, talk to somebody, come back when and if you feel safe. I will not take it personally if you don't. So this episode, we flash back to 3 months prior, where Arabella is in Italy and she's, working on her literary agent's dime in this different location, and T is coming to visit her. First of all, I think every show is giving us a little bit of nostalgia or longing for the days before COVID. So I really felt like, damn, I want to be in Italy. Everything is just making me think about how we took life so for granted. Anywho, so T arrives. They're in this really nice, I guess you would call it a villa. And T is kind of expressing, I can't wait until my day comes, as an actor. And I really understand where she's coming from, because when you work in any kind of creative space, you really just want to be able to make a living doing what you love. And when that doesn't happen, it can be incredibly discouraging. So I could completely understand her being in this really nice space that Arabella is providing due to her, book or her, writing ability, and wanting to be able to do the same thing. So let me say this. I do not judge. I'm not judging, nor am I condoning drug use, but people who do drugs in foreign countries are so brave. I could never. I'd be terrified that anything could literally happen. So they are high, wandering around Italy, and violently high, really. So they arrive at this restaurant where they're supposed to be getting food. The waiter is like, girl, I'm not doing this with y'all. So he sends over this other waitress, who we find out her name is Matilda. She's super nice, super chill, gives them some free fries and tells them where they can get more drugs. Fun! So they go to this playground where we find out that Arabella's eventual pseudo boyfriend, am I gonna say his name wrong again? Biagio, is actually the dealer. So they purchased their drugs, and it was just like a lot of stuff. I was like, damn, y'all about to do coke, ketamine, and Molly? Like, y'all trying to get zooted. But again, people really do just be doing drugs. So I'm not here to judge. This is a safe space. So they go back to the villa, trying to decide what they want to do for the evening. And let's pull over right here. If you travel with a friend, especially to another country, make sure y'all are on the same page about the vibe that you're going for, about what your trip goals are. Another story for another day, but I kind of made that mistake with a friend where I really wanted to just go somewhere and kind of be loosey-goosey and, let's just play it by ear. These are the things I absolutely want to do, and these are the things I'm kind of okay not doing. And we still ended up having completely different goals for this trip. So it was interesting, but it seems like, so at the playground, they run into Matilda again, helps them, she's helping them get sorted out with their drug purchase, customer service, I guess. And she invites them to this house party. They exchange numbers. And funny enough, Arabella was really trying to hop down on old dude. And he was like, girl, no. So it seems like T wants to do something kind of chill where she can maybe meet some dudes, and Arabella is really trying to be a little bit more adventurous and turn up a bit. So, they decide not to reach out to Matilda. They go to some club where they were playing some really good music. I will say that the music on I May Destroy You also is pretty good, almost on the same level as Insecure. I'm really enjoying the music choices. So they get to this club, Arabella is wilding. Like, she's violently high. And the whole time she's doing all this stuff, you know, like twerking, dropping it low, whatever, I'm thinking, damn, you doing a lot of stuff to be on your period right now. So for me, I'm not one of those people who has like a cute light flow. It heavy Gucci Mane voice. I try to limit my movements. I'm not wearing no dresses or no skirts. Like, so she's really just like out here. And on the one hand, I'm like, you know, maybe this should be normalized. But on the other hand, I have like secondhand like discomfort because I'm just like, oh my God, what if there's a leak? You know, anywho. So you can see that T is kind of sobering up. Arabella then took drugs from somebody in the bathroom. Again, a level of bravery and adventurousness that I will never know. But again, this is a safe space. We're just here to discuss. So T gets visibly annoyed. Let's pull over again. We've all been in the position where one person in the group is way more inebriated than everyone else. But you don't just leave the person there. T tells her that she's leaving. Arabella clearly can't receive this information, and T leaves anyway. Again, I understand being frustrated and annoyed, and y'all can have the conversation the next day, but you don't leave your friend in a foreign country, in a club where she's shit-faced. So T goes off on her own adventure. She's really trying to find her way home. Gets stopped by some, you know, Italian dude that I guess we're supposed to think is attractive. He didn't really do it for me, but whatever. And this guy's, you know, flattering her, whatever. They decide to, you know, dance together. And I had a moment where I was just like, I don't think I know how to dance with dudes. Like, I can twerk, but if a dude was just like, you know, hey, let's hit the dance floor, I would not know what to do. And I always think about that when I watch like TV shows or movies where I'm just like, how do people just like know how to dance? I don't. Like, not like with a partner. Like, I'm not that person. Meanwhile, Arabella, I guess, is starting to kind of sober up and is realizing, okay, where is T? Well, what's this guy's name again? Why can't I remember his name? Biagio is actually at the same club as her. He peeps that this bitch is wasted and decides to, like, you know, help her get sorted out. They have this kind of like, in a way, it makes me think about these like summer nights that you have, or like a random summer date that you have with a person where y'all are just kind of like walking and vibing, but also she's really wasted. So they get back to the villa and come to find out, you know, T is there with not one, but two dudes. She ended up dancing with two dudes at the club, brought them back to the villa, and T is about to have, you know, the kind of threesome that people don't talk about. Here's the thing. This is a sex positive space. I don't judge people for their kink as long as everyone is a consenting adult. Now, Arabella arrives home with Biagio. And again, in my mind, I'm like, isn't she on her period? Not to say that people don't have period sex. It happens. But she makes a point to say, like, look, I have a heavy flow. Again, I felt seen. He's just like, oh, girl, I don't care. Now, there are some dudes in the world who are just super comfortable with periods. And there are some dudes who are disgusted by the mere mention of them. I consider it a red flag, pun intended, when a dude is absolutely disgusted by the mere mention of a period. But then stuff got real interesting because she decides that she's gonna let him run this red light. And when he started playing with that blood clot, y'all, I was like, what the hell is happening right now? And just like Arabella is kind of looking like, you're weirdly kind of okay with this, and I don't know what to do with that. And it was just, okay, on the one hand, I do think that menstrual blood should be more normalized so that maybe dudes can stop being so freaked out by the actual biology of a woman's body. But this was a bit much for me. I was having a conversation with one of my homegirls where we were both kind of like, maybe we're not as progressive as we thought we were, but like this scene was a bit much. I wasn't like absolutely disgusted, but I was like, is this like a European dude thing, or like are they just regular dudes who are this comfortable with like menstrual blood? I don't know. I had a lot of questions when he started playing with that blood clot and like asking her questions about it. I was taken aback. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys thought about it, because again, I consider myself to be a pretty progressive person, and I do think that, you know, it's weird that growing up, whenever we would see commercials for tampons or pads or whatever, they would have this like blue liquid, and why couldn't that liquid have at least just been red? You know, I do think that that's something that should be normalized, but this was a bit much. This went way left, and I was just like, okay, girl, I guess. So they decide that like this just ain't gonna happen, and decides to like go for a walk. He takes her to the beach. It's lovely. T has wrapped up her threesome, you know, and realizes as she's looking out the window that these two guys actually knew each other. This is where the nuance of consent really comes into play, because she did consent to have sex with two guys, but she was under the assumption that everyone in the room was a stranger. And the fact that they actually knew each other made it really kind of seem like, damn, they like plotted on her. And you can see her feel discomfort with that, because in a way she consented to something she did not know that she was consenting to. And that's one of the things that I wish people understood a little bit more about the nuance of consent when it comes to sex. It's not always no means no, like everyone was taught. There are a lot of things that happen in between the decision to have sex and the actual sex, and even like the after and the during, that people don't really discuss. Just because a person agrees to have sex with you doesn't mean that it's anything goes. She needed to be informed of that, and it felt like a plot, you know. And I was like, okay, maybe this is why she had such an emotional response to Arabella's acceptance or realization that she had been sexually assaulted in the previous episode, because she herself had this moment where, you know, she was high, she was living life, she was in a different country, she was just, you know, out here doing her thing, and decides that she wants to like have this like sexual adventure, but it ended up not being something that she completely consented to. So a little bit of insight into T. And then we get to the beach scene. I rewatched this today just so that I can make sure that I cover like all the details that I wanted to include in this recap. And Biagio, I still really don't feel like I'm saying his name right. Anyway, he reveals that, you know, he thinks Arabella is really cool. You know, they don't listen to some random Jagged Edge. But he's like, you know, chill out with the drugs. And she's just like, okay, judgy. And then it's also like, you sell drugs though. And he reveals that his mom, and I think also his sister, you know, suffered from drug use. And I think he said that they had overdosed. And she was just like, you know, I fully get that. And, you know, tragic for you. However, like, I'm gonna do my thing. And he says, okay, don't come crying to me when you get yourself in trouble. That foreshadows the fact that the whole day or two, the 36 hours that Arabella has experienced this sexual assault, still, you know, piecing together the night, figuring out what happened, and, you know, leaves the police precinct, gets home. That's why she never answered the phone for him. Because there was gonna have to be this admission that, once again, like, I'm still out here like doing drugs. I'm still out here, you know, doing things that I know you don't approve of, and now I actually have gotten myself in trouble. That's not a thing. Sexual assault is never the other person's fault. It's not the victim's fault. It's always the perpetrator's fault. But, you know, I think there's this feeling that she has that this is somehow my fault, and I don't want to have to admit to him that I was messed up and got raped. So again, a little bit more insight there. about why she didn't want to have this conversation with him, because he'd said, you know, like, chill out with the drugs. If you get in trouble, don't come crying to me. And she doesn't. So it remains to be seen whether or not she actually like tells him what happens. And again, like, I can understand that there is this certain amount of shame that comes with the sexual assault. There is this certain amount of, you know, unless you're like this perfect victim where you were wearing, you know, I don't know, a nun's charge or something, and you're, you know, very modestly dressed, and some psycho just jumps out the bushes and it's like this violent thing that you like see on TV. That's what some people think sexual assault is exclusively, and they never, or we're just now having more conversations about how much more nuance there is. And if you're not a perfect victim, like virginal and, you know, modestly dressed and, oh, I would never do anything, it's hard to not feel ashamed when something happens because you were just trying to be a normal human person by partying and drinking like any and everybody else. So again, I think the show is doing a really great job of exploring the realities of what this looks like. So I'm excited for tonight's episode. Like I said, you guys know Kwame is quietly my favorite character so far. So I think that we're gonna get a little bit more insight into his life. I'm really excited to see it, and I will be back with a review for episode 4 on Monday. So thank you guys for tuning in. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I know some of you guys are extremely grossed out by the period sex. I get it. I know. Sure. Like, comment, subscribe, share, reviews, send money and positive vibes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.